guesses?
I don't speak Spanish, but I'm going to guess. Is it something along the lines of either take control of or change the present, form or create the future?
Yeah, it's along those lines, but can you tell me where that's from?
Oh.
This pertains to everyone in this classroom. That is the official motto of the University of Toledo, and it means guide to the present, motor of the future.
Oh, you got this off the seal. That's where I recognize these words from.
And today I'm going to talk to you about an organization that is truly trying to guide the present generation of African American males in order to create a better future for them. This organization is the Student African American Brotherhood. So in this presentation, I'm going to go over some background information, some research that was done, the summary of those researches, why I believe SOB is beneficial to society, and I'll go over the organization a little bit, and after we're done, we're going to have a little question and answering session, Q&A. So, a brief history of SOB. SOB was founded in 1990 on the campus of Georgia Southwestern State University by Dr. Tyrone Bledsoe. Dr. Tyrone Bledsoe served as a vice president here at the University of Toledo in, I believe, 2002 to about 2004. And he positioned the national headquarters of this organization, the Student African American Brotherhood, here on the campus of Toledo. It's located on the Scott Park campus, and you'll find me there every Friday between 11 and 3. So, academic and societal needs. That's the main reason why this organization was founded. At Georgia Southwestern State University, when Dr. Tyrone Bledsoe was there, he noticed that there was a disproportional amount of African American males to be, and Latino males to be specific, that weren't staying in school, were dropping out, weren't making it through their freshman year, weren't making it to graduation. So this organization was founded to help increase those academic standards and the societal standards of African American males. The motto of the organization is, I am my brother's keeper, and together we'll rise. And I just told you guys about the headquarters, and every year there's a national conference. It's in a different city about every 2 to 3 years. For the last 3 years prior to this year was in Indianapolis, and this year was in Detroit, Michigan. So this is the logo of the organization, and you can sort of draw it. It spells out SOB if you look at it. There's the S, and then there's an A right here. There's another A right here, and then the B sort of comes over there. And this is the affirmation of the organization. In order to empower ourselves and promote brotherhood, we, the brothers of the Student African American Brotherhood, embrace the principles of accountability, self-discipline, proactive leadership, and intellectual development. Through our beliefs and convictions, we uphold this mission at all times. So, why SOB? This is the academic standpoint of why SOB is needed. Black men make up 7.9% of 18 to 24-year-olds in this country, but only 2.8% of those are undergrads at flagship universities. And this educational gap, it says that black men will eventually have a less successful future than their counterparts in society. And this right here is just a graph of graduation rates. And it says, you can clearly see right there that black males are the lowest, and this is between comparing black males and black females. And then I also have the rate of others. This next slide here includes the graduation rate of white males and Asian and Pacific Islanders, and as you can still see here, black males are by far the lowest. So, with that academic standpoint, why SOB? SOB has more than 200 chapters in over 39 states, and these chapters are set up to help increase the academic standards set by the university. So, at the top of your chapter, you have your advisor, who is pretty much looking over everything, and then you have your president and your vice president, and then you have different chairs who help out with different things that the organization at that specific chapter needs at the time. So you can have like a spiritual chair or an academic chair who would set up study tables and study sessions for students and other necessities. I spoke about the national conference briefly, but the national conference is by far the most powerful thing that SOB does. I have been to 3 national conferences myself, and just to see the testimonials from students getting up there weeping, saying that without this organization, they might not be where they are today. They might have dropped out because they needed the help, they needed the brotherly love, they needed the help to get the information needed to succeed past their freshman year and continue on and get their bachelor's degree, master's degree, and even doctorate degrees. So, with SOB, 80% of the participants in the organization make it past their freshman and sophomore year. That's compared to, I believe, 50% on the national average, and 86% of SOB members go on to graduate, and I believe that number was 33.1%, as I pointed out earlier. These are the numbers for schools that have SOB chapters. So, in order to do that, I spoke about the advisors and the president of the organization and the vice president earlier. Those guys will meet with each other and try to set up these different departments here that I have set up. Freshman seminars to let freshmen know that you will have help here on campus. There are places for you to go, who to get in contact with if you have different problems. So they set up things sort of like that and help them get involved in other student programs and departments around the universities. And those advisors, presidents, vice presidents, the chairs, they're going to coordinate with directors of various directors on the university who help with multicultural affairs and other affairs on the campus. That's how they're going to get things. That's how they get things done and how they get the entire program moving. So, why SOB again? I'm going to talk about the financial standpoint, and I'm going to list some shocking statistics and state the power of education, if education does have power. So, as you can see here, this is a graph of unemployment rate, which began in 1973, and it ends here in 2012. And as you can see, Black and Hispanics have been the highest two from the beginning of this tracking all the way up until 2012. That is a very shocking statistic. Never once were they lower than any other race. And that's with that high unemployment rate, that's going to lead to a very low median household income rate. As you can see here, Blacks were the lowest at a little under $26,000 a year in 1967. And here in 2012, you can see that they're only at $33,321, which is less than half of what Asians and Pacific Islanders are bringing in for their median household income. Over here on the right, this just puts it into further perspective. In 1972, to be in the top 5% of richest Blacks in the country, you needed to have $92,000, but the more specific number that I wanted you to look at was the $134,000 in 2012. That is almost identical to the number that qualified to be the top 5% of richest whites in the country in 1972. Another shocking statistic. Oh, sorry. So why do I bring that up, and why do I talk about income and financials? Well, with what SOB is doing, helping African American males get an education, helping them get their degrees, these numbers will begin to change as with an education and with a degree, you're going to get higher paying jobs. You're not going to have a minimum wage job, which will keep the median household income low as you're making minimum wage. Why SOB again? We're going to talk about crime. One out of every four black men between the ages of 20 and 29 are either in prison, on probation, or on parole. Now that number is very shocking because if you compare that number to the number of black men in college and in the armed forces, that number is higher than the number of black men in college or in the armed forces. And this crime and irresponsibility is also what contributes to the low income rate and the low median income and the high unemployment rate, because once you're in prison, you're not employed. So, how does SOB help these guys? college enrollment. They get them, SOB starts off in middle school and helps you all the way throughout college, all the way up until you get your doctorate degree. You'll be able to contact the national headquarters, you'll be able to talk to someone there, and they will help you throughout the way. They help middle school kids start to figure out how high school is going to work, how to study for tests, how to fill out applications for either private high schools, and when you get into high school, how to fill out applications for colleges. Primary and secondary education, GPA, they help bring that GPA up, boost it so that you can stay in school and continue to progress throughout your life. Finishing school and facing obstacles, that ties back in with the low GPAs. It ties back in. It ties in with the disciplinary actions that are taken against African American students. They have the highest amount of disciplinary actions. That is in-school suspensions, detentions, or expulsions. African American students are the highest across the board of high school students for those numbers. Dropout rates, like I said earlier, it helps eliminate the dropout rates. Alternative paths, letting them know that there is a brighter future out there for you. Just because your mom or your dad didn't go to college, you can go to college, you can succeed, and you can become a better person for your community, and you can also help raise others up with you. Overcoming the obstacles, that's basically what I just talked about with the alternative paths, and also with the better future. So, in summary, Corriovando, el presente, formando, el porvenir, guide to the present, motor to the future. This is what this organization is pretty much doing, and this is what your university stands for. So if your university stands for it and you come here, you should follow what your university does and help either donate to the Student African American Brotherhood, become a member of the Student African American Brotherhood, or volunteer. I am my brother's keeper, and together we'll rise. And that's all I have. Then I have sources here, and I will just fast forward it all the way to, sorry, questions?